He doesn't know what he speaks. To begin with, he speaks nonsense. Trump told him to speak dangerous nonsense.
So, but isn't it scary that this man, this so-called self-styled field marshal, could one day possibly be the president of Pakistan?
Trump must have clearly told him, talk nonsense but don't walk it.
So, but is it time that India changes its nuclear doctrine from NFU to first use policy?
Because Asim Munir is a dangerous madman.
Yes, sir.
No, we don't take him seriously at all. We take him only seriously in the short term that there could be another cross-border terror event.
Won't it ultimately harm the US consumers more than us? Isn't the US consumers now, they have to pay for it in some way or the other?
See, this is called chickens will come home.
How do you see this shift happening in our policy?
There's no shift happening at all with America. We see it as a passing cloud, point number one. Once the Nobel Committee says we'll never give you a Nobel, he'll behave, point number two.
Sorry.
Because our trade with America is $200 billion. You get the gravity?
Yes, sir. Hello and namaste. मेरा नाम है डॉक्टर दीपान्विता और आपका स्वागत है श्रीराम्स आईएएस के पॉडकास्ट में। आज हमारे साथ है श्रीराम सर और आज हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं जो ये ड्रामा चल रहा है ना जियोपॉलिटिकल स्टेज पे, ये जो टैरिफ गेम चल रहा है इंडिया के अगेंस्ट में, अलास्का समिट चल रहा है और कहीं ना कहीं ये इंडिया चाइना की दोस्ती, तो ये सारे जो अभी चल रहे हैं जियोपॉलिटिकल ड्रामा जिसे कहा जा सकता है, इसको अनपैक करेंगे, अनरावल करेंगे एंड सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट इस पूरे पॉडकास्ट में ये जो इतने सारे नुआंसेस हैं जैसे कि पाकिस्तान यूएस की दोस्ती, ये सारी चीज़ों को ना एक कॉन्टेक्स्ट में समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है क्योंकि कोई भी यूनिवर्सल ट्रुथ नहीं होता है, हर चीज़ एक कॉन्टेक्स्ट के साथ ही उसका मायने रखता है। और इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स में सिग्नलिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। कोई भी स्टेटमेंट या कोई भी विजिट के पीछे पूरी दुनिया को ना, विश्व को एक सिग्नल दिया जाता है और सिग्नलिंग को समझना, पकड़ना, उसी को कहा जाता है एक एनालिसिस या आईआर का जो पकड़ है उसी से आता है। चलिए आज स्टार्ट करते हैं। सबसे पहला जो अलास्का समिट हुआ है, उस पर्टिकुलर अलास्का समिट में इफ़ यू सी दैट उस समिट में ऐसा कोई डेवलपमेंट नहीं था। समिट के बाद जो डिक्लेरेशन था, देयर वाज अ अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट देयर इज़ नो डील बट पीस इज़ अराउंड द कॉर्नर. And there was a signaling, right? There were bomber jets flying and Putin and Trump meeting in Alaska, a region that once was USSR's given to US. All of this was signaling. But most important was that there is a hint of peace coming in. And that's what I want to ask, sir. Do you think a peace in Russia-Ukraine crisis is possible?
You know, Alaska summit, yes, it is a huge victory for Putin. Head to head with the president of America, on the soil of America, even while conventionally speaking, he is an occupier. Even while sanctions are there on him. Whether they are right or wrong, that's another story altogether. So yes, it's a victory for Putin, but what has transpired? Nothing. Nothing has come out of it. It's purely a personal victory. And for Trump, is it a victory? Yeah, as of now, since nothing has come out of it, Alaska's significance is a mild push to a process that may eventually bring peace or not. But this process is going to be long and protracted. Because after that, 7 European Union leaders, British Prime Minister, Ukraine President Zelensky, all of them had again met Trump in the White House. Nothing came out of that. Trump is evasive, non-committal and ambiguous, and the European leaders are worried, and this land for peace is no peace at all. You ask Ukraine to concede territory that is under occupation, and only then will the process move fast or ahead. That's no peace at all. As of now, Russian bombardment continues. As of now, nothing is clear. So to call this a small step or a step at all towards peace is a huge exaggeration.
True, sir. But there is a segment of the American media which is calling that the punitive tariffs that have been, the threat of the punitive tariffs against India, that has worked successfully. Because once the threat came in, Putin said yes to the Alaska summit. So do you see that this is the norm now? Because if it is the norm, it is very dangerous going forward, that a threat of tariff would lead to countries buckling into the pressure.
But Putin going for the summit, it didn't require any threat at all. You just had to wish, and that would be the command for him to come to Alaska, share the stage with you, get the global limelight. So nothing happened because of the so-called tariff threat, secondary punitive sanctions. Even though secondary sanctions haven't kicked in, they're supposed to kick in on the 27th of August. So that is not a serious threat. It doesn't take any threat at all. If Putin had conceded land, if he had deoccupied the land, vacated the land that he occupied, then you could say sanctions are working, allies are in danger, Putin is sensitive and fraternal, and therefore he has responded to the danger that the allies are in, for example, India, time-tested ally. But nothing, Putin hasn't conceded anything. It's not a tariff threat at all. It's an incentive for him to come to Alaska.
But sir, the entire threat on India and not on China or not on other countries, isn't that unilateral bullying, or as China has called it?
Yeah, the foundation of American foreign policy, Trump 2.0, is unilateralism. It's coming away, it's tearing apart multilateralism. It's not even bilateralism, it is unilateralism. And you won't touch China because China holds key to your growth, your development, your economy, and so on. So China, they have been postponing these tariff threats. The truce is on again for 90 days. Again, somewhere in November, they'll see what can be done. But on India, Trump targeting India has multiple objectives. It's not the only objective. For example, that part of American media which says this is forcing Putin to come to terms on Ukraine, that is grossly, very highly misplaced. And why they are targeting India, that's, there are so many other objectives. I'm sure we'll get into them.
Right, sir. So let us come to where it all starts from. That is Operation Sindoor and its achievements or the success. Did the Operation Sindoor change the geopolitics of South Asia as a region? Because after a long time, a substantial war against terror, and I'm using the word war very categorically out here, it was definitely a large-scale attack on the state-sponsored terrorism. Has it changed the geopolitics?
It has changed, but how much? Let's see. To begin with, yes, there was a cross-border terror, and that was preceded by very inflammatory speech by the self-proclaimed field marshal who is in charge of Pakistan. There he says Hindus and Muslims cannot coexist in the same place. And that was followed in a week's time by cross-border terror, where our citizens, and of course one Nepali citizen, was brutally massacred. After that, we gave a fitting reply, and that reply was supposedly cold start. Go quickly, do your work and come back before it escalates into a war. But we couldn't stop the escalation into war. When Pakistan got back, we pounded them again. After which Trump put pressure on Pakistan. Pakistan replied, sir, you please arrange a truce. And Trump, because they requested, and they said, we'll stop if India stops. We told them, yeah, we'll stop if you stop. That is how Trump put pressure on Pakistan to back off. That is how we stopped. So then what happens is Operation Sindoor and those 4 days of war, that made Trump believe that he was the facilitator of the ceasefire and stoppage of the war. And since he's playing for the Nobel, he's got this weird ambition to go for the Nobel, and wherever, about 30-35 times he has said, I stopped the war. Nuclear weapon countries, they would have blown up each other to smithereens, all that. We have as many times told him, sir, you are not responsible. We were ready for war if they continued their mischief. And because they begged for ceasefire, we had accepted it. They begged, and therefore we had responded positively. You are nowhere in the picture as far as we are concerned. So we denying a role for Trump, who is desperate for his Nobel, that also angered him, and he fell for Pakistan more. In other words, America seemingly propping up Pakistan, America seemingly giving them parity, that is rehyphenation of India and Pakistan, and China giving them real-time data, live intelligence about our military details. That also shows China in very bad light. So the CHIPAC nexus, also America seemingly on the side of Pakistan for purely selfish reasons. And also the same Munir boasting that we will strike deep into India, we will attack them from east, hinting that Bangladesh is on his side. So all this is serious geopolitical disruption. It's not like before. Or is it that it's always been beneath the surface and it comes onto the surface now? It's too early to say anything because India-America relation, contrary to the public perception and expert perception, nothing can be said about the state of the relation and future relation yet. But yes, now the Chinese foreign minister was in Kabul few hours back, bringing Pakistan and Afghanistan together into the BRI, CPEC. So this is very serious geopolitical development for everyone to see how far this goes, how far this is reversible in favor of India. Nothing has happened yet.
From all sides, it looks as if India is stuck in a challenging situation, especially the crisis in the neighborhood, China stepping in as a mediator between Afghanistan, Pakistan, close ties, convergences between US and Pakistan. Somewhere the challenges of India's foreign policy have just multiplied in the last few months, it seems.
But I don't give too much importance to the Pakistan-America relation as it is unfolding for a few months now. If we can go into the details, Trump 1.0 was very hostile to Pakistan. Biden said one of the most dangerous places on this planet is Pakistan. Trump 2.0, that is about, say, December of last year. What was the apprehension of Pakistan that Trump will put pressure on them to release Imran Khan? So they were very worried because Munir has political ambitions. He wants to become the president of Pakistan once he retires in 2027. So they tried to lobby with Trump to whisper something positively into Trump's ears. They hired a lobby agency which is owned by one of the former bodyguards of Trump. Then what happens is, Islamic State terrorists responsible for bombing Kabul in 2021, in which 13 Americans and about 150 Afghan people died, Pakistan arrested and handed over to America, and thus they got named that they are partners of America in the fight against terrorism, that is counter-terrorism. So that was earlier this year. Then what happens is, Trump has this fascination for cryptos. Recently he's got a fund. That fund is made up of bitcoins confiscated from the criminals. There are crypto criminals who have pocketed, who have amassed bitcoins, and when the criminals are caught, the bitcoins are confiscated and that's put into a fund, point number one. He himself got a meme coin, the Trump coin, point number two. And he has the Genius Act, which is a regulatory framework for stable coins pegged against American treasuries, dollars, etc. And his family floated an agency, a company called World Liberty Financial. They are a crypto company. They float coins and they are soliciting investment in that. And Pakistan thought that this is the route to Trump's heart, mind, body, soul, because Trump is equal to crypto. So they had set up a ministry for cryptos, and they have a Pakistan Crypto Council. And the owners of the World Liberty Financial, 60% of the ownership is in the hands of Trump family, and rest of it is in the hands of the person who mediated for Trump both in the Middle East as well as with Putin, who brought Putin to Alaska, Steve Witkoff. They had come to Pakistan and Pakistan said, we are game, we'll partner with you, and nothing trips Trump more than someone showing interest. Remember when Trump 1.0, El Salvador was beginning to adopt Bitcoin as its official currency along with American dollar. So Trump loves. That is why Trump in the White House shared the same stage with El Salvador head of state. You know, who is equally a rogue like our field marshal across the border. So the point is, this crypto, ISIS and Operation Sindoor are denial of credit to Trump, self-claimed. Trump thinks that he is the facilitator, he is the honest broker, he brought about the ceasefire, saved the planet from a war between two nuclear weapon countries. So from then on, Trump has become sort of insane. Insane in the sense that they're not giving me credit. I have a deal, $200 billion worth of trade with them, and they need my market. Already they are on 10 of baseline and 25 of the tariff, reflecting the trade deficit we are running with them. They are not yielding to me. I'm Trump sitting on a pile of $36 trillion GDP is the worth of my economy. And so let me pile pressure on India, like you can't imagine. So that is when he said, we'll be exploring and exploiting oil in Pakistan and one day India will be buying from. Where is the oil? There is as much oil in Pakistan as there is honesty in the White House today. So, and then he says we will dig for critical minerals. Where? Balochistan. Balochistan is a Pakistan within Pakistan. There is so much. The most disturbed spot on the earth is Balochistan because Pakistan denied them the fruits of their own resources. Resource cursed Balochistan. And he says he'll dig for critical minerals there and he'll appoint a company, and Pakistan already issued the tender for that. So the deal with Pakistan, oil, that doesn't exist. And for cryptos, you require a lot of data centers, servers, and those servers require electricity. And Pakistan has no electricity at all. And crypto, no electricity. Oil doesn't exist. Critical minerals in the most dangerous place that nobody has ever walked. China could somehow manage a few lines, but you've seen what happened, Jafar Express, etc., etc. So all this looks like a huge mirage, huge sort of a cover-up to me, except that the crypto is real. All else is putting pressure on India to yield to his mad desire that he is a peacemaker in South Asia. We will never do it. Whatever he does, we'll never do it. And we are not a pushover. We are a $4 trillion economy. So the US-Pakistan relation today is purely the personalized foreign policy of Trump trying to put pressure on India, bend our will to accept his claim that he is the honest broker in the South Asia.
So let me then ask you this, with all of this personalized foreign policy, then the relation between US and Pakistan, is it just mere transactional and not allies, what we previously saw?
Even the transaction is purely crypto transaction. There is nothing else to it. I don't know if Trump collected some money for the lunch that he gave to Munir. Apparently, nobody saw them eating together. God knows what they ate. What was he doing for 2 hours in White House? Was it 2 hours indeed? Did he wait for Trump and then push off? Trump even can't recall his name in a press conference. So there's nothing in the relation as of now, but Trump is looking the other way while Pakistan is building their long-range missiles. Trump is thinking of giving them night vision goggles that they can get from anywhere else, but Trump is thinking of giving them. Trump is thinking of using them in relation to Iran. Trump is thinking of using them to get more and more Muslim countries to accept Israel. So the geopolitics of Middle East could also, but I don't see this relation beyond the cryptos. But cryptos are, they have a bright future as long as Trump is there. And Pakistan will be a very side play. How much money can the Pakistanis invest? And remember, the people of Pakistan don't like America. Let America come there to dig for the critical minerals. people of Pakistan, Balochistan even more vociferously, but people of Pakistan are anti-America, expect a popular revolution. Now come to the personal angle from this side, the Munir's personal angle. He's the son of an imam. He studied in a madrasa and he's very intolerant. He doesn't know what he speaks. To begin with, he speaks nonsense. Trump told him to speak dangerous nonsense. So in Florida, at a place called Tampa, he went there to say goodbye to the boss of CENTCOM, Central Command, Kurila. And after that, he goes to a diaspora meeting where he says, we will use our nuclear weapon. If we are destroyed, we'll take half the world with us. Do you expect this from anyone, even the junior most position in the government? You don't. This is coming from a country with a nuclear weapon. Why is he doing it? He wants to have more people of Pakistan on his side compared to Imran Khan. He wants to be the most popular person. He wants to be a great Muslim leader. He wants to be the bridge to America for the Muslim countries struggling for American eyes and ears, American attention. And also he would like to be the president, for which all his popularity will pay off. So there's a personal angle this side, personal angle that side.
So, but isn't it scary that this man, this so-called self-styled field marshal, could one day possibly be the president of Pakistan and hold the nuclear codes? That is dangerous.
But Trump must have clearly told him, talk nonsense but don't walk it. You see, his mandate is very clear, to keep talking. We are a dump truck with bricks and India is a merc. And what is all this imagery? What sort of a person is he? Does his brain work beyond lumpenism? Remember this word? Lumpenism is a classical lumpen, just like Musharraf, just like Yahya Khan. And he calls himself Field Marshal. And the CENTCOM boss, Kurila, he conferred an award on him, an honor on him, that is Nishan-e-Imtiyaz, one of the highest honors. So all this is adding up to a danger. No, the talk of it is dangerous, but that's where his mandate ends.
But sir, under the guise of good relations, convergences, there's also a good trade deal, IMF loan coming in, as well as there is a whole attempt to balance out India's economic predominance in the region. It's, if the neighborhood is in flux, India's growth will suffer. That's something that we've always maintained. But is it one of the ideas behind Trump's close convergences with Pakistan?
Trump is showing that he is getting closer to Pakistan. He even said that Pakistan is a phenomenal partner against counter-terrorism. He says that in the Congress itself, in his parliament, American parliament. I don't see any substance, I don't see anything strategic about the emerging relation. I see it purely as a bluff to put pressure on India to one day say it is all because of Trump that there is peace in South Asia. We are friends with Pakistan today. We are not in conflict because of Trump. So we endorse him for the Nobel Peace Prize 2026 like Pakistan did. So I would suggest that India should propose that he should get the Nobel for 26 for Ukraine. He'll be happy. But if he is still found desperate about the Nobel because of solving the India-Pakistan tension, then I think he should see a psychiatrist.
So there was an editorial in a leading newspaper in India which said that, again, the convergence between America and Pakistan could bring the Kashmir issue back into the limelight. And this could also open up the avenue for Pakistan to internationalize the Kashmir dispute. Again, something which India has fought from the Shimla Agreement, that it is a bilateral matter. Now, do you see that happening?
Since Shimla, 1972, we have resolved to keep it at the bilateral level, not to internationalize it. Nobody should mediate. We are good enough. We are mature enough. We'll talk it out. We'll ensure that we'll resolve it if there is a problem. Every country during Operation Sindoor said, both of you sit down and sort it out because it's a bilateral issue. So, internationalization of Kashmir suits Pakistan and China because POK they'll keep because China's BRI, CPEC goes through the occupied Kashmir where there is a internationally there will be doubts created about the status of the rest of Kashmir. So Pakistan has no stakes there. Whatever it has, it will keep, and the rest will be discussed. And that is not the spirit. There's nothing to discuss. Legally speaking, there's nothing to discuss at all. Raja Hari Singh acceded to India, and we treated them like the most favored state. Most favored state from 1950, ever since our constitution came into force, 370 and so on, till 2019, they are the most pampered state. We ensured that we treat them more equally, and having done our job in order for more economic development, we scrapped Article 370 for good reasons, because federal parity, asymmetric federalism has a shelf life. Equality of states is a norm of federalism, and therefore we scrapped it. And that's not up for discussion, that's not for negotiation. So Kashmir internationalization, try as they might, as they will, and even Trump, because he is never responsible while speaking. I've read an article in the Guardian newspaper, which you also must be reading. There they say he is not able to complete his thought, which is as devastating as it gets for the American president. The other day I heard him again saying, I have sorted 6 wars. 6 wars, Azerbaijan, and he is counting that Croatia also, this Democratic Republic of Congo, all sorts of imaginary wars he is sorting. That's not sorting. Nothing of that is sorted out. So, we are having to contend with a very unbalanced American president who doesn't know what he speaks, except that he speaks what he speaks for the Nobel and for family and personal grandeur. The person is above family, family is above the nation, all that.
But sir, his words are repeated and justified by the leadership of America, Mark Rubio. Exactly. He goes ahead and says, oh, this is right. What he's doing is justified. So you have a group of American leaders who are justifying his personal thoughts and his personal political policies and all of that, which is again leading to a point that, just like today, Nikki Haley has said that it has come to a point that there could be a break in India-US relations.
You see, India-America relation is substantive relation, strategic relation. What's the GDP of Pakistan? $360 billion. What's the trade between India and America? $200 billion, goods and services. American investments. How many billions of dollars? About 60-70 billions of dollars is the worth of global capability centers, of which quite a few are American global capability centers, which is the future of innovation in India. The other day we launched a NISAR, NASA ISRO, small aperture satellite. Yes? So that is space collaboration. Holtec, a firm in America, said we will build small modular nuclear reactors in India. Nuclear cooperation, space cooperation, emerging technology cooperation, all these are there, and the investment and trade relation is substantive. I'm not bringing China here as a counterweight to America. That's a separate story, if that story is real at all. But the fact is, we have a strategic, they are the ones who internationalized our nuclear industry. They are the ones who gave us an exemption from NPT. So for the last 25 years, we are on a roll. And Pakistan has been the international outcast. When there was USSR, America needed them to prop up few terrorists. They needed Pakistan. When there were terrorists in Afghanistan who were hiding in the caves and in Pakistan, America needed Pakistan. And the moment Osama was captured and killed in Abbottabad in 2011, they didn't need Pakistan anymore. So when did America have a good, substantive, strategic, economy-driven, science-driven, technology-driven, innovation-driven, intellectual capital-driven relation? Nothing. When terrorists are there, they needed Pakistan, they funded them to take care of them.
Right, sir. The kind of multifaceted engagement that US and India has, in comparison, US-Pakistan has a very narrow scope of convergences. So definitely this could be seen only as a hiccup in the India-US relations. So let me come down to the deal that US and Pakistan has signed about the oil deal, right? And our member of parliament, Shashi Tharoor, had, in a viral statement said, where is the oil, right? And if there is oil, they are more than welcome to have it. So, sir, now coming to Balochistan, because everything comes down, if there is oil, it is Balochistan. If there is rare earth minerals, it's Balochistan. Balochistan has now become an area that Pakistan would have to balance out Chinese aspirations as well as American interests. How would that play out?
As of now, the critical minerals of Balochistan are only on paper.
True.
It's not even explored, let alone exploitation and so on. So critical minerals are a joke. Oil, nobody ever saw oil there. And the world is short of oil, therefore, if they discover oil, we'll certainly buy. Why not buy oil? If Pakistan behaves, of course. So, this is the ultimate fiction to say that critical minerals, and once we get into critical minerals, China will be annoyed, and there'll be America-China spat, and Pakistan will mediate between the two. All this is, filling up. You have to write 800 words for an article in any standard newspaper. So you have to be imaginary about it, not imaginative. And that is how these details are produced.
True.
Thin air.
True. Sir, let me come down to some nuclear ambition questions now. Because when Field Marshal, the self-styled Field Marshal, went to USA, he made some really, inflammatory statements, I would say, about the fact that Pakistan is ready to use nuclear weapons against India. And he pointed out the targets as well. Now, there was no response or reaction by the Americans. And that was read again by the Indian media in a way that, the silence means that they do support. And there was an understanding that now Pakistan is openly threatening India with nuclear weapons. How do we read this particular situation coming in?
Pakistan Munir is readily accepting all the dangerous signals from the American leadership today, purely tactical. They told him, talk as much of nonsense as you can, not just plain nonsense, dangerous nonsense. Link it to nuclear weapons, come to America and talk here, and we are all there for you because we want to unnerve India to a point where they will say it's all because of Trump that there is peace and security here, and the war stopped because of Trump. And so, he should be given Nobel not next year, but in 25 itself. That is the moment they want. And we will never, ever, he should know our foreign policy. He should know our strategic autonomy. He should know our sensitivities. And based on that, he should pitch his expectations. If he thinks that he could internationalize Kashmir, if he thinks that he could whip up this madman against India, then they're, having wild dreams, pipe dreams. They'll never come true. Ask us for markets, we'll give you. Small modular reactor, we'll give you. Cryogenic engineering cooperation, yes. Critical minerals, come, dig here, process here. And invest in India, more global capability. You want Sundar Pichai? We have, Nadella, Microsoft head. Satya Nadella, we have so many here, we'll give you some more. Sundar Pichai, we'll give you more. With these great leaders, we will give you anything great and intellectual, academic, economic, scientific, technological, innovative. We are ready, but not nonsense, but not sovereignty, but not autonomy. Let's bring up a good planet together. That's what we are there for.
But when we talk about the nuclear deterrence theory, that nuclear weapons are meant for deterrence and not for use. We are assuming that it is a rational state for the nuclear deterrence to work. But in the hands of Munir, and when he's allowed dangerous nonsense, you never know if the rational state theory will work. Because he could just be another Kim Jong-un in the future who could just say that, your destruction, my destruction, let's go for it.
So the balance of terror, the MAD, mutually assured destruction, a nuclear bomb in my hand, will prevent you from using your nuclear bomb. So nuclear deterrence is deterring another nuclear weapon country from using its nuclear weapon.
Right, sir.
That never cancels out a conventional war, low intensity, cyber, financial, all that. They'll go on. Actually, the theory is that Kargil could happen because of the nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are non-usable. You can't use it. There's no nuclear option. Nuclear option is a non-option. And therefore, that is one part of it. Yeah, the madman can always upset it, but this guy is not, he is asked to be only so mad but not more mad. His madness extends to only talk and also some cross-border terrorism, which he better think twice because of the reply that he got. His madness is talking dangerous nonsense, walk he never can, because there is a world outside Pakistan. You see, not the whole world is not India, and India has, our nuclear doctrine is NFU. Their doctrine is FU. That means what? India is so big, I cannot opt out to the first nuclear first use option. I cannot, sort of say no, because the moment I come to know they are destabilizing me, not giving me water, destabilizing my economy, my territory, my sovereignty, I should have the option to hit them, tactical, strategic, all this. So they are saying we are a small country against a big enemy, therefore we can't afford the NFU, therefore we say FU. Yes? So, that's okay, let them say it because they can never use it. We have a triad. Triad means on land, on water, in the air, we got nuclear weapons. And if you ever get the dangerous thought of actually walking your talk, you won't be there before you completed the thought. Yeah? So massive retaliation. So our doctrines are different because our positions are different. We are too big and we have a moral stature in the world. Pakistan has no moral stature. Pakistan is a failed nation, rogue nation, all sorts of bad words are used to describe Pakistan. Pakistan is a terrorist camp. It is not a nation state. Yes, the dignity of a nation state it does not have. And therefore, yes, our respective nuclear doctrines speak for themselves. A madman can always upset it, but nobody is so mad.
So, but is it time that India changes its nuclear doctrine from NFU to first use policy?
Because Asim Munir is a dangerous madman.
Yes.
No, we don't take him seriously at all. We take him only seriously in the short term that there could be another cross-border terror event. But when he says half the world will take down when we are destroyed, you are jihadi nuclear doctrine you are introducing into the literature. What are you saying? But such talk can never be true. Point number one. And first use, because we got the triad number one, because we are, it's only a deterrent, but it is not the first option. Point number two. And also, we have a moral stature. We need to keep up to that. We are essentially a disarmament country. You forced us to have a nuclear weapon. We'll be the last ones to use it. If you ever think mad and act mad, we are there to see that you don't exist. Yeah.
Right, sir. Sir, coming back to another issue that is there between India and Pakistan currently, which is the Indus Water Treaty, the abeyance of that treaty. And this has been interpreted as a sign of war, again, by the self-styled Field Marshal. Now, if it is a sign of war and something which even Bilawal Bhutto has been talking about, that if there is a drought in the coming few months, especially in the lean months, Pakistan would have to take some steps. Do we see some kind of conventional war coming from the side of Pakistan, especially now that they're emboldened with the US support?
The nuclear doctrine of Pakistan allows them to start a nuclear war if there's a disruption to water, because water security, food security, economic security, all that adds up to national security. But we have not stopped a single drop of water from flowing from the Indus. We are only not sharing the data. Joint inspections are suspended. Some data we are withholding, and that is a very mild sort of a treatment as of now we are giving. Because remember, we have a humanitarian status in the world. India is a country that stands for popular welfare. We are not the ones to destroy anyone, not the least the ordinary people. Millions depend on the water for their agriculture, drinking water, industrial water, etc. We will never deny them a drop. We only threaten them, we only show them what we can do. By talking about it, we have held back some data, that's all.
But we are building new dams, sir.
The dam we are not building yet. We have a plan. It's not easy to build the dam. And even building the dam requires World Bank green signal. As of now, we are in the heat of the moment and we are always followers of international law. We have never violated a single global treaty. If you accede to a treaty, you will stick to that. But these people have to be told in their own language, we have this weapon, we will use it if you don't behave. That's all we are doing.
So coming to the India-US relations now, this punitive tariffs that have been talked about, even though it has not yet started, what impact would it have on the Indian economy?
You know, our goods exports are 85 billion. Services are about 25-30. Services aren't affected. Goods, 85 of that pharma as of now enjoys an exemption, but for how long we don't know, because Trump wants pharma companies to invest in America, point number one. Trump wants our intellectual property law to be in conformity with their expectations, point number two. A special 301 investigation is going into our intellectual property laws to see if they are in conformity, after which it could be he is threatening, his insane talk. 100%, 200, 500, all that nonsense we are coming across. We have to take it seriously because he wants to be in the headlines, for good or bad. Some sort of a unbalanced instinct of his. So pharma, don't be too sure you won't come under tariff. Energy, they are not putting energy under tariff because if India doesn't export petroleum products, the global market will see today how much is oil. About 65, Brent and others, 65. If India doesn't export, it will be 75. For whose good? Europe will go into stagflation, America will go into stagflation, etc. Therefore, the question about energy got an exemption. Electronics, whose smartphones are they? Apple smartphones. So, because Apple is an American company, that also enjoys exemption today. So, if you take away the electronics and energy and pharma, I can't take away seriously. Energy, I will take away because Trump's empty nonsense aside, global energy is very crucial for his own. Even his MAGA crowd requires cheap petrol, cheap food, cheap transport. And therefore, rest of it adds up to about $40-45 billion. But they're all employment intensive. Your leather, your textile, your gems and jewelry, they employ millions of people. So far we have heard of only China plus one. Don't risk all your money in China, diversify a bit into Vietnam or India. China plus one, go for India. That's how Apple has come here, along with Foxconn. Now because India has already 25, and the penal stuff of 25 could kick in as well. Even at 25, you are 6 percentage points more than Pakistan. You are 5 more than Indonesia, all these people. Bangladesh is 20. So our companies, Raymond, that exports garment, they are setting up factories and they are tying up with people in Ethiopia, which has only 10% baseline tariff. And we are negotiating with Bangladesh because Bangladesh has only 20% tariff. So it is India plus one now. Have in India and look for a Bangladesh or a Philippines or a Vietnam or an Ethiopia. So yes, there will be unemployment. There will be unemployment, no doubt about it. But Russia said something wonderful, true to the relation that India and Russia have enjoyed for decades now. Time tested, durable. Truly fraternal. What did they say? If you can't export to America, export to us, point number one. And if you can't pay $60 a barrel, which is even less than the global price, we'll give you 5% concession, point number two. Now you hold your breath. We are paying for that mostly in rupees. Show me another country where so much of import is being paid for in rupees. So this is Russia for us. So yeah, the impact, even yesterday, the former governor of RBI, Subbarao, he was saying what everybody knows. Fiscal policy, a lot of tax collections will go down, a lot of subsidies will come up. So there'll be a bit of a fiscal deficit increase. Monetary policy, if there's inflation, then you have to raise the rate again, and that'll be at the cost of some growth. So fiscal policy, monetary policy, and what will be the fate of rupee? If this is what the world thinks about India, because we had good relation with America, your rupee was okay. Now, if the American relation is under stress, rupee could be, today it is 86, 87, it could go till 90, and that'll inflate the import bill, all sorts of downstream effects. So your budget, the fiscal, the monetary, the exchange rate policy, the employment, the production, the GDP, you can't sugarcoat it.
So what were the issues for which the trade deal could not take place?
The trade deal is basically 25. Point number one, we wanted reduction. 25 is high. Dairy is non-negotiable because millions, hundreds of millions of Indian women. See, today the contribution of dairy is about half of agriculture, half of the crop economy. Women are there. They keep a few cattle, a cow or two, buffalo, milk, sell, keep money, education, health. Indian women, how is Amul a success? So Indian dairy is not up for grabs at all. And genetic, in his Truth Social tweet, he said obnoxious trade policy, India's. That obnoxious is, we don't allow the animal feed, we don't allow the dairy product because they feed the cows there with non-veg, the blood meal and all that. We don't like it because that's our culture. Also, genetically modified organisms. Soya oil we import, that is genetically modified soya oil. But soya we don't import if it is genetically modified. There is a bit of a dichotomy there. We need to cover that, but we can't do that at gunpoint. So the trade deal fell because we've not been able to get a breakthrough because dairy, genetically modified organisms, and he wants to come into India big time because his crowd there, the Republican states, they are the agricultural export. And think of this, they are subsidizing their agriculture like nobody's business. You want your subsidized, your obnoxious products to come into my economy, derail my economy, destroy my livelihoods, corrupt my culture. India is not another country. We may not be a China or America, but we are a big country in our own right. $4 trillion economy, end of the year, fiscal year, will be 4 in the world, after the big 3. So this is how it fell through. We are still negotiating. One doesn't see too much of negotiating space. But there are 2 ways about it. To get to the American president today, if he has to be satisfied with us and then be lenient, accommodative, one is endorse him for a Nobel. Ukraine-centered Nobel, Azerbaijan-centered Nobel, Democratic Republic of Congo, Abraham Accords. Push him for a Nobel for 2026. Even Hillary Clinton, whom he stalked, global stage, the live TV debate, he stalked her. No one ever seen anything like that live. Yeah, even she said, poor lady, even she is succumbing. She says, if we can get peace in Ukraine, I'll push him for a Nobel. So if Hillary could do it, we should be able to do it for Ukraine, and stop him there. 2, it's very high time India got into crypto because the future belongs to crypto, stablecoin, etc. I was expecting the RBI governor in the MPC meeting 2 weeks back to say something about crypto. We are opening because we are forward looking. Nobody is any longer talking about CBDCs. It's crypto and stable now. So we should launch into that. We should tell America we are together. Let's expand our partnership. Let's go into the digital assets and all that. Let's ensure that there is forward-looking digital currency policy and lots of, stuff like that. That is the way to his mind and heart. And otherwise, he'll keep barking like this. We know a barking dog doesn't bite. Everyone knows. Even the barking dog knows. Yes? But his bark itself is too insulting, humiliating. You're a dead economy. 4.25 and growing at 6.5 under all circumstances. Yeah? Dead economy. Whose dead mind is this? Yes?
So, this brings me to the statement made by Amitabh Kant, said that this crisis gives India opportunities to grow. What kind of opportunities do you see here? Especially, as you said, unemployment is there, going to increase.
In India, human capital is the only way forward. We have to strengthen our quantity-wise. Quantity to 100% enrollment we have, both boys and girls. Right to education. We need to strengthen the quality of our primary education, point number 1, higher education, point number 2, research and development, point number 3, get our private sector to bite the bullet on the R&D, point number 4, get into the cutting edge technologies, AI, semiconductor, 3D, nano, biotech and all that, the bioeconomy. Go beyond the headlines, go beyond the declarations, show action on ground and show action in terms of what's there in the market. Get into the lab first, do something there in the lab number 2, come to the market number 3 and capture the world number 4. You need to show this on ground. Not keep harping on ISRO, space, Subhanshu Shukla. All that is wonderful, but you need to go beyond that. We have nothing to show in biotech. We have nothing to show in, nuclear, nano, etc. And growth, human capital, point number 1. And we are doing something. We are doing GST reform. Remember our Honorable PM said that you're going to see some reform in the GST. A lot of 12% will go down to 5%. And that will cheapen a lot of goods and services. There will be a lot of consumption. Remember, a few months back in the budget, you got your IT exemption raised, a lot of money in the pockets of people again. So the direct taxes, indirect taxes, consolidation, liberalization, it's at the consumption level you've done something. But employment, one doesn't see biting the bullet kind of. Stroke of the pen policies, we have so many apprenticeship and internship. That's not making too much of headway. So you need to strengthen the MSMEs, point number 1, boost the agricultural productivity, point number 2, ensure that there is a lab-to-land transfer, point number 3, improve your higher education levels to global standards, point number 4, free up your technical education, point number 5. All this we are doing, you got 75,000 crore across so many years. Shipbuilding we are taking up. GST, yes. And incidentally, about the cost of the tariff being imposed on India, Basmati, India has the GI, Pakistan has the GI, we export to America, they also export to America, you can't export to America, they will export double to America, filling up for the room left by India. So this is, in terms of dollars that it earns, not too much, but in terms of symbolism, it's a bit weird. Yeah, thanks to a weirder president of America.
So I'm going to come to a very basic question, something that I wanted to understand. This entire tariff thing that, game that President Trump is playing, won't it ultimately harm the US consumers more than us? Isn't the US consumers now, they have to pay for it in some way or the other?
See, this is called chickens will come home. So far you had chicken all right, but chicken will come home. Today, what are you telling the world? I'm collecting so many billions of dollars from tariffs. How stupid it is. Tariff is an indirect tax. Indirect tax adds up to the price. The goods and services that the consumers consume will get costlier and they won't consume so many anymore. And so there will be less of consumption, less of demand, less of growth, less of investment, less of employment. This is a classical case of self-imposed stagflation. You recede into the degrowth of the economy because inflation is weighing down on the economy. And this is going to come sooner or later. This is one direct cost. What about the cost to American exceptionalism? You want to bring investment into America because they are very nostalgic about the employment, the dirty clothes in a steel factory. They're extremely nostalgic about it. But these investments won't create any employment because robotics is only something that will give you the comparative advantage, cost of production. If you have to employ people, there will be no comparative advantage. Nobody will buy your goods either within the country or outside the country. Now, what is this American exceptionalism? Be it dollar, be it American treasuries, be it American bonds, be it American stocks, all of them enjoy a premium because America has been an exceptional country. Democracy, stability, industry, innovation, cutting-edge technology, high quality of education, Hollywood, Coca-Cola, freedom of expression, all this combined together, you have nowhere else. It's not that America is a land of milk and honey, but the fact is there is no other country like America. Part of the American dream has come true because of Indians. We were talking about Sundar Pichai and Satya Nadella and, today Arvind Srinivas of Perplexity AI. They're all Indians and so many unsung Indians. Unsung and they're getting their pay, but they are not in the headlines. So many Indians. Indian means an Indian young person means intellectual, software engineer, and human capital. He can lift up your economy. So, this American exceptionalism is likely to be hit. You can't delay it any longer. And if you read the statistics about Chinese yuan, they are spreading. Russia and China pay each other in their local currency. Africa is contemplating switching to yuan. Brazil got into a swap deal with America for $25 billion. And yes, all this means that the global reserve currency status of US dollar will continue, but yuan, euro, pound, yen, Swiss franc, they'll chip away. Global reserve currency. And America as the currency of global payments, that will also come down because we respect you because you are respectable. If you are not respectable, how can we respect you? We'll still continue to respect you by virtue of momentum. But you want to deny yourself even that. Time will come, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, because this will happen even after Trump quits. Because he is preparing the ground, he is poisoning the global system, American system. He is cutting a branch on which he is sitting.
So we'll come to some other multilateral facets of India-US now. Quad. Would it suffer because of the current dynamics between India-US?
Quad Shinzo Abe 2007, he said, let's come together. Free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. China was coming up, 9-dash line, and then it was a threat because, all of us are invested. All of us have trade. We want maritime routes to be free and open. Indo-Pacific is a huge area, the area of the future. The future belongs to this area. India is worried because China was very belligerent and America didn't want China to have its way, and Japan and Australia. But then on the security front, we didn't go too far except the Malabar. Malabar started in 92, but yeah, these war games are okay. It's basically India doesn't want to, face up to China in the sense that we don't want to earn the wrath of China by our behavior. We'll behave well so that China, which is in the hubris of China, doesn't target us. So yeah, Quad has never been a guarantee for our maritime security. It's just a showcased Quad, such that China is told don't be hostile, aggressive, etc. Stay within your limits. It's okay for humanitarian. And I don't know if anything has come out of disaster relief or infrastructure or cyber security or vaccines, maybe a little bit. But otherwise, Quad is essentially fictitious. Yeah.
So what about the I2U2 then? would that be impacted?
Even that is a headline. You see, Middle East is not in a stable form today. You know, Iran problem is there, Syria, Lebanon. Look at Gaza. Look at the temperament of Israel for a while now. So, you know, this I to you to all that in peacetime, you and UAE, America, India, Israel, all that. You know, I have not heard of this I to you to for a long, long while. About the Middle East, the only thing we heard of is Gaza, Israel and Iran. Even the Middle East Europe corridor also is not in the headlines anymore, because things have to cool in Middle East for all these projects and cooperations to take off, which has not been the condition ever since Hamas killed innocent Israelis.
Sir, let me now come back, bring China into the mixture, because we have been ignoring a substantial partner to the entire drama of this, which is China. Now, on one hand, China is, of course, sees Pakistan as an ally, a partner, every good word that we can think of as in a bilateral relation. On the other hand, the elephant and the dragon is about to tango. How do we see this balancing taking place?
See, with China, if I start listing the issues we have, problems, barriers, deterrents we have, paper is not enough. Yes? Pakistan, their nuclear weapons without any energy waiver. Pakistan, 80% of their arms. Live intelligence, real-time data while the war is going on, they gave to Pakistan. And their CPEC, $65 billion worth, that goes to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And Gwadar is very close to Chabahar, that is where we are there. And terrorists, they don't want them to be named as terrorists by the United Nations. So that's as far as Pakistan is concerned. They're extending the CPEC to Afghanistan, making Pakistan and Afghanistan friends, and there again they're taking away our ally in Afghanistan. Now we come to Bangladesh, Pakistan. They are bringing the two together. There's a trilateral here, just as there's a trilateral Afghanistan, Pakistan, China. China is again bringing a trilateral between China, Pakistan, Bangladesh. They're trying to form a group of South Asia because SAARC is dormant in a limbo. They would like a South Asian group with China being present there. Think of running down India. 80 places, hills and lakes and mountains and rivers and houses in Arunachal Pradesh given Chinese names. Yeah, this is one more. And the mother of all, the dam on the Brahmaputra on the other side, Yarlung. Yes. And think of your water security, food security, national security. That's still one more. $100 billion worth of trade deficit. That is one more. And yes, water-soluble fertilizer they held back. Why? Why have you held back? Non-tariff barrier, suspended the export through NT-base. That there is no account. 300 Chinese smartphone engineers that Foxconn brought to India, working in South India, in the Apple factories. China said, don't work for our competitor, come back. 300 engineers had to go back. And this Dwarka Expressway, tunnel boring machines, we take them from China. They said, we'll not give you. Rare earth magnets have stopped and our car industry is paralyzed. So, you can go on and on. They are sitting in our territory. 5 years back today, Galwan, and before that, Aksai Chin. You can never complete the list. But there are some mild, sweet spots also. Kailas Mansarovar, yeah. Fertilizer, they took it back and they are sending. Rare earth magnets, they are sending. Their foreign minister, Wang Yi, was here in India for 3 days. He left here for Kabul. So, yeah, we are not driven into the arms of China by the pressures of Trump. You rule that out. We don't do that. But the relation with China, we have to relate to them. They are dumping so many goods in India, industrial overcapacity. Trump doesn't import from China. They'll have so much of capacity built. They have to dump it somewhere, and they see India as a potential dumping ground for that. We need to do something about it. Don't dump. Come into India and invest here. Our Dixon Technologies, which is a Indian Foxconn, they have tied up with an American company for this, all the packaging and testing and assembling services. And our Prime Minister is going for SEO summit, Tianjin, later 31st. But our Raksha Mantri did not sign the joint declaration few months back because they did not mention Pahalgam, but they mentioned Jafar Express. Yeah. With all this, how far can we go? Let me talk about Dalai Lama now. That is an emerging issue. 90 years old spiritual leader. We are the original land of Buddhism. So many crores of people in India who are Buddhists, and we are a spiritual nation. And when he came to India in 59, we told him, okay, settle down wherever you like. He chose Dharmashala. They set up the government in exile. We have nothing to do with that. That is where they practice Buddhism, etc. Tibetan school of Buddhism. He is 90. Everyone has to die. And he says, let me pick my successor. The Tibetans, Buddhism doesn't believe in reincarnation. But Tibetan school of Buddhism, which is what Dalai Lama, Sri Dalai Lama espouses, they believe in reincarnation. And Dalai Lama knows whose body he'll be born into. So he'll spot a child, that child will embody my spirit. He'll be the future Dalai Lama. That is, he set up a trust. That trust will pick up the future. After the 90th Dalai Lama passes away, whenever that happens, there'll be a child chosen to become the next Dalai Lama. China says there's a golden urn method. In that urn, there'll be chits. Pick up, all of them will carry some name or the other. Pick up a chit, and the name on the chit will be the next Dalai Lama. And that's been coming on since the Qing dynasty of 1780, etc. Buddhism is very crucial for China because there are billions of Buddhists, point number one. The whole of Tibet is Buddhist, point number two. Nepal and Bhutan and Northeast, they're all Buddhist, point number three. China wants a successor who will give Chinese government legitimacy. They'll say China has been exemplary. They're giving us freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of prayer, etc., etc. So the stakes are very high. Just imagine tomorrow, Dalai Lama's trust says that this person in Dharmashala or Arunachal, incidentally, China says the whole of Arunachal is ours. We don't accept the McMahon line. This person in Arunachal is the future Dalai Lama. China doesn't accept that. Think of culture intertwined with geopolitics there. That can flare up because Tibet is very crucial. 25% of China is Tibet. Buddhism is billions of people. So, there are too many potentially volatile areas. But for the moment, in October last year, we normalized on the border disengagement. Wherever we clashed, disengage, de-escalate, point number one. Our external affairs minister, defense minister go there, national security advisor goes there, their foreign minister comes here. Our prime minister himself is going there. So where do we see the relation? China, you and I read Marxian concept of ideology. Ideology in very simple terms, a selfish interest is projected as a general interest. Yeah. So China is selfish, to an extent everyone is. We want to invade your economy. We want to subjugate your economy. We want to deindustrialize you. We want to disemploy you. We want to populate your country with our people. We want to establish huge colonies of Chinese people in your country. But if you ask them, why are you doing all this? WTO compliant, multilateralism, free trade. Consumer is happy because the pichikari is selling cheap. The pichikari. Ganesha is coming cheap. Rakhi is cheap. Firecrackers are cheap. Free trade. Ricardo, Adam Smith. But what are you doing? What you are doing is literally colonizing, imperializing. If your heart is bleeding for me, why don't you accept for your imports payment in rupees? Then I'll accept that. Payment in rupees, de-dollarization. America is a hegemon. We should ask for multipolarity. If you are dying for multipolarity, Look for multipolarity in currencies also. I would love to pay you in rupees. Send me another $50 billion worth of goods. I'll pay that in rupees. No, they don't accept that. Where is the friendship? Yeah? Where is the free trade? So you see that with China is an emerging hegemon and Asian hegemon, neighboring hegemon. We have to keep them engaged. But again, the challenge, as you were quoting Amitabh Kant, is inside. Unless you are strong inside, nobody is going to respect you, take you seriously outside. We are taken seriously, but that's not enough. Yeah.
So, if you look at the recent editorials in major leading newspapers, Indian newspapers, there is a underlining idea that India is doing good by shifting away from American dependence and looking into partnership with China, and that would create a nexus in the global south. The entire lining or the underlining argument is that this is where India should have been from the beginning, showing strategic autonomy by having alliances with China, Russia and everyone, and not being overtly dependent on America. This shift, I feel, is problematic because whenever we do this in IR, it's not a zero-sum game, right? It cannot be completely moving towards China or completely moving away from America. How do you see this shift happening in our policy?
There's no shift happening at all with America. We see it as a passing cloud, point number one. Once the Nobel Committee says we'll never give you a Nobel, he'll behave, point number two.
Sorry.
Because our trade with America is $200 billion. Okay. You get the gravity?
Yes, sir.
$200 billion, number one. Apple is here, Google Pay is here, WhatsApp is also, I think, money transfers are there. WhatsApp is here, ChatGPT says for OpenAI, India is the largest market. Trump is acting like a fool, but he's not a fool. He will one day very soon realize he is not fit for Nobel, and then on he will think, like an American president behaving, of American standards. So, I don't see any tectonic shift in our relation with America, point number one, nor is there a huge possibility with China, point number two. Selectively, case by case, okay, let Chinese people come here, visas will issue. Business visas we'll issue, and direct flights, we will certainly relax. We'll have them, point number three. Land route trade will certainly open up to Sikkim, Nathula, etc. Mansarovar, we are, thankful that you are reciprocating good gestures, point number four. Here and there an Oppo or a Vivo here, then that's okay, Huawei, etc. That's okay. But if you want to take over, displace our Mahindras and Tatas, we can't... So again, it comes back to Amitabh Kant and the need for making it into 1991. Open, your economy should be strong, human resource should be strong, science and technology should be strong, education should be strong. That is the only way we can face up to this Chinese challenge. All the rest of it, what is it that you are doing towards China as a result of the Trump pressure? I really can't see anything. What is it that you are doing? They are trying to provoke you. It is a bully. It is give him an inch and he'll take a mile. This bully, our neighbor, will take not just 1 kilometer if you give him an inch. He will take 10 kilometers. They've got the people, they've got the goods, they've got the services, and they've got the geographical proximity. So we are not kicked into Chinese arms at all. What are you doing? You please tell me. Everything that we are doing is pre-scheduled. We promise them nothing because we have seen them before, and there's something consistent about it. And Trump is hitting China somewhat, and China is also imploding because of properties, all the problems. China is in deflation. Chinese people, a lot of unemployment. So their attention from the discontent has to be diverted. Who else will take the hit? We. So nationalism of China will have to be spilled somewhere. It has to be either directly or by proxy. India. And never ever take China as not even a frenemy. They have to be kept at a distance. And that you can do not by juggling your friends and enemies. That you have to do at home.
Something our External Affairs Minister also said, that you can never take China as a friend. They are a neighbor and we have to deal with them just like a neighbor, good or bad. Let's come down to Sir Russia. Now, we have seen that Russia is an all-weather friend, a durable friend, but Russia's closeness with China also puts a pressure on us to, kind of balance China. Even if it's, we can't treat it as a frenemy, we still have to balance it out. How do you see this angle playing out, especially with Russia standing behind us even today?
China would like to be seen as a friend of Global South, for which it requires global legitimacy, for which it requires India on its side. So for its own global leadership legitimacy, it wants India on its side, point number one. We have a time-tested relation with Russia, Soviet Union, later from 91 onwards, Russian Federation. Using Russia to put sense into Chinese minds, we can do precious little of it because China is using Russia rather than the other way. But we could be an RIC that can be revived where three of us could sit down and talk. But for us to do the bidding of China against America, rule it out, they know it also. So using Russia to make China behave towards India, you can virtually rule it out because China is making Russia pro-Pakistan rather than Russia being used by India to be Russia being used by India so that China becomes pro-India. Yeah, that's not proving to be materially correct on ground. So with Russia, what we have is a true friend, good bit of trade, energy. We are not going to buckle down. But if Russia, the price of Russia, the Russian crude, 60, that Ural, $60. Global is 65. At 60, 65, just to make America Mogambo khush hua. You see, just to make Mogambo khush, we can buy more from America, even if it means logistics are tough, cost is a little more, global prices are equating, that's okay. But if Russia is giving you 5% concession, Russia is telling you export to us what you were to export to America but not able to export because of tariffs, then we just can't say no. How will that impact? Don't think Trump will be infuriated. Trump's mind is only how to cut Indian market open, point number one, how to get India to endorse him for Nobel, point number two, and how to put his finger into Kashmir, point number three. So the latter two out. The first one is there. Even there, the stuff he wants from India, dairy and the GMOs, they are not on the negotiating table, point number three. So cryptos and Nobel for Ukraine will click with him. And sooner or later, chickens will come home for his own economy. And when they bite with stagflation, even his MAGA crowd will open the eyes. And by then, congressional elections midterm will be near 2026. Even Trump will see sense. Yes, he'll stop his psychopathic policies. Yes, which are putting the world in danger, which are putting America itself in danger. That is when I think we are back to normal. I don't take the present Trump shocks to be tectonic in our bilateral relation. So we can multi-alignment. With each of these countries, we can have our independent foreign policy. Yeah.
So, since the Russia-Ukraine crisis has started, there has always been a blame on countries like India for funding the war from the Russian side. Many Americans have even called it the blood money because India continues to buy the crude oil from Russia. But they don't agree to the fact that Europe continues to buy gas, America continues to buy uranium, and they don't see that, they don't accept that, and their argument is we are transitioning away while India is openly buying more and more. The blame has always been on countries like Turkey, India for supporting and fueling the war. This narrative, even after 3 years, persists, and that is what Trump is using as well. How do we challenge this narrative?
Point number one, you can't base your narrative on reason because reason doesn't sell in America today, at least at the top leadership. They told the world, you want to buy oil from Russia, you buy, but you can't pay more than X price, the price cap. And put the price cap very low so that Russia doesn't get much for its oil, so that it doesn't have much money to fund its Ukraine war. That suits us eminently. And we got terrific refining capacity in the country, large refining capacity. And our job is spend less, number one, source it from the cheapest place, number two, and then, bring down inflation in the country, number three, reduce your subsidies, number four. So fiscally, monetarily, macroeconomically, forex-wise, and the best friends of Russia, not for no reason. We are paying in rupees. So Russia said you are paying in rupees, and though some of the rupees we will use for our imports from India, but there is so much of asymmetry in our trade. We import not too much, we export a lot. What do we do with the extra rupee? We told them, okay, put in government securities. They said, okay. You should see the body language of Lavrov. True fraternity you see in their body language. We are, so close. Now, so Biden told us you can keep buying actually, you must buy actually. Why? Because when you flood the petroleum goods into the global market, that will bring the global crude price down, which is good for all economies. Look at Europe. They are into recession, they are into stagflation, Germany. And if the oil price is a little more benign, their economies won't be so hard hit. So we bought at the price that they set, point number one. We refined and sold in the global market, point number two. If Reliance made money, what is your problem? Why do you want to, be so cheap to go after Reliance? After all, you should be thankful they set up the capacity to make oil cheap for the entire world. Isn't it?
True.
Yeah. Even Munir is not happy with Reliance. Munir is a very...
Sir, so President Putin is going to come to India later this year. How can we make India-Russia relations more strong in a more multifaceted way? Because if you look at the trade numbers and if you look at the India-Russia bilateral relations, it is dependent on crude oil, chemical fertilizers, and very, very few items of trade. We really do not have a strong relation when it comes to, again, trade numbers or even soft power. How do we, work on that, improve those facets?
We can improve to the extent that their economy, our economy permit. Pharma, America doesn't accept. We can export to Russia. They are so friendly to us. Energy we'll continue to import as long as the price suits us. We are not afraid of any penal tariffs here. And defense we have to continue to buy. But defense since 91 you've been observing, we are diversifying. Initially, a lot of it was Russia, Soviet. But Russia is not in a position to supply, point number one. It doesn't make sense for us to take it from Russia. We should not put all the eggs in one basket. So, America, Israel, France, Britain, Russia, yes, we have diversified. So, strengthening our relation with Russia is being true friends to the limited extent that our trade and investment, they can come and invest in India, but what do they make? But then this is not time when we should get closer with Russia, because Trump, the madman, is watching. Without closer relation with Russia, with acceptable relation with Russia, if Trump is so furious and unbalanced about it, then think of getting closer to Russia. It's not because of Trump. After all, America is also our friend. We need to ensure America is happy with us. We are not afraid of America. We sympathize with America. In spite of Trump, we look to you to be the best friends. Trump will come and Trump will go. Trump doesn't have to go. Within no time, his nonsense will hit him. And then he will, pitch for right policies and our relation will be back to normal. It will be back to normal. No American president can continue to be like that. They'll impeach him.
So let's come to BRICS, because it is just not India or it's not China who's facing the flip-flop side of President Putin, but also Brazil, which brings BRICS countries at the head of what Trump says anti-American interest, anti-West. Is really BRICS an anti-West organization?
BRICS are there, but there's no cement there, if you noticed.
But isn't President Trump the cement now?
Yeah, he is getting the cement a little bit, but the composition of this group called BRICS is such that nothing can cement them. For example, India and China. Brazil is somewhere there. South Africa here. Iran. What is there in Iran to be a part of any group? Iran has nothing to offer. Iran. UAE. Ethiopia. Egypt. They're all spent countries. Not UAE. These are spent countries. Indonesia. 10 countries are there. Argentinian president, Javier Milei, the clone of Trump, he walked out. He saw Trump coming and he walked out. Saudi Arabia also is influenced by America to keep only one foot into BRICS. They said, we are not a full-fledged member yet. We'll see when we can be. It's not that we are withdrawing, nor are we there. We are half there. But about 20-30 countries are lining up to become members. So Trump, the BRICS is essentially Chinese baby. Let's not, think of anything else. In the sense that, let's not pretend it is otherwise. It is a Chinese baby, point number one. But then you will ask, how is it anti-America? They have the New Development Bank versus World Bank. They have the Contingent Reserve Facility arrangement versus IMF. And they are thinking of accepting local currency trade, which will never come about. Real of Brazil, Chinese yuan, they can. I am waiting for Chinese friendship to mature to a point within no time that they'll accept for our imports payment in rupees, Indian rupees. True sign of friendship. When that happens, then we are all in into BRICS. Is it anti-America? Trump is picking on financial side, BRICS common currency. Two things can threaten America. One is BRICS common currency. Common currency means there's no rupee. There's some BRICS currency. There's no yuan. Are we ready to have our currency replaced by BRICS? We deal with the whole world. BRICS is only 10 countries as of now. Point number one. You want to dispense with your rupee. Point number two. You want to scrap the RBI and bring a BRICS central bank. Point number three. You want to have a monetary policy dictated by the BRICS central bank. Point number. We are out of our minds. BRICS common currency, somebody wanted to trigger Trump. He said BRICS common currency. Ever since he has not slept. But there is nothing there. You see, there is nothing there. And payment in local currency is also not there. We have not paid for $1 worth of import from China in rupee. So, he is worried about de-dollarization by way of trade payments being in local currency and also coming away and having a... So, neither of them is there, but in future can they? Oh, they can, because small little country, Ethiopia, Egypt and, Iran, they will do anything against America. You can have numbers, but then they don't amount to much. It's like United Nations General Assembly type. You see, it doesn't really amount to much. So Trump actually has no reason, unless he wants to create the ghost of a reason to whip up his MAGA crowd.
So de-dollarization, the elephant in the room all the time that Trump has said has destroyed the dollar. Is it a possibility? We talked about the fact that BRICS common currency is in, but de-dollarization, can that happen?
Dollarization is dependence on dollar. For what? Global payments number one, global reserve currency number two, and global investments number three. That is dollarization. Reduce the dependence on dollar, that is de-dollarization. That's been going on. You got the euro, 20% of global payments are in euro. And RBI stocks up a lot of euro as a reserve currency. So euro is coming up, yuan is coming up, yen is already there, pound is there, Swiss franc is there. The extent of use of dollar as a reserve currency is coming down. De-dollarization is taking place. The issue is, will Trump hasten the process, accelerate the process of de-dollarization? Last time in our discussion about the tariffs, we talked about the fact that TINA factor is helping America today. But you can't bank on TINA for too long. China is coming up like you can't believe. Lots and lots of countries are adopting yuan because Once you buy dollar, the exchange rate fluctuation, etc., is a very costly process, destabilizing process. Instead, why don't you go to China? They'll lend you the money. They'll ask you to pay for your imports from China in that currency. That's a classical East India company, much, much bigger. But the point is that's going on, de-dollarization. I don't think you can brush it aside any longer because it's already happening. And today Europe is spending more because they have to spend 5% for NATO. A lot of the countries are NATO countries, the European Union, the Eurozone countries, about 20 of them. They are borrowing and spending, they are printing more, world can have more of that. So lots and lots of people sold a dollar and bought euro, sold dollar and bought yuan, yen. Swiss franc was appreciating so much, they had to print so much. So we are in a bit of turmoil, but because it can be so destabilizing, people who manage the system are not allowing it to erupt. But, mad policies like this, they're very costly, very costly. You're playing with dollar. You can't play with... What dollar? They're playing with American treasuries. Why do you think he walked back from his own insanity? Because people were selling American treasuries. The ultimate safe haven. Nothing works, they'll still work. Even that you are selling. You're not selling in tens of billions of dollars. Trillions it could be tomorrow. China holds them. So China has too many cards here. Yeah.
So let me come down to the last question. Let me just, remove the layers that we have talked about. So in talk about the geopolitical drama today, what we see is, on one hand, we have the tariff threat on us, but we also see convergences, divergences, and these are, as you said, they are momentary. They are a reaction to what President Trump is, and what he says and what he intends to do are two different things. At the end of the day, if we see, India continues to have strategic autonomy. India continues to balance Russia and America. China, yes, there are some convergences, but that has not removed the areas of divergences between India and China. Pakistan is, the clown in the whole circus, keeps popping up and down. So we should not really take it so seriously and change our policies. But all of these politics hide something very important, that is the economic aspect of it. Too many trade deals are happening very fast. Too many trade deals are happening through bullying, pushing Japan, Vietnam, Bangladesh. Won't this have an impact on international politics in the near future?
As of now, people are shell-shocked.
That's what, but everybody's, flowing with the water, but they will stand and look back, and this is going to be a crisis point.
We have not seen a situation like this. Be it Japan or South Korea or European Union or UK or India or Indonesia or Vietnam. China, of course, is a separate animal. So we are all shell-shocked. It's only been 7 months and we have seen so much. What is to happen to America and the world? Trade, production, employment, and all those global sensitive assets like dollar, American treasuries. So sense has to come back into the global order. Trump will sooner than later realize the chickens are coming home. Will he be? Today he is going after the Federal Reserve Chairperson, Powell. He is known to be, one of the finest, stabilizer. There is a threat of inflation and Trump wants him to reduce the interest rates. Except in Turkey, you won't see it anywhere. And Turkey is a weird economy. Yes? Point number one. Point number two, unemployment is rising in America, and who says that? The Director of Labor Statistics. He fires her. Why? Punishing the messenger. So, the future of the world, nobody can say anything. On my part, I'm waiting for this evening and, fun from Trump saying, I fixed 2 countries going to a nuclear war and all that. I have fixed 6 peace deals I have made. My fun evening after evening. Nobody knows what is in store for the world. Will sanity prevail? because he's not the only person who is destabilizing. We picked a team, which are yes men.
Yes. That's where the problem is.
We'll take stock in a couple of months.
Right, sir. With this, we come to an end to this entire interesting discussion of what is going on in the world. I hope we have been able to touch upon the different aspects and give you a complete wholesome picture of the geopolitical drama that's going on. If you have any questions for us, feel free to drop it in the comment box and we'll get back to you with an answer to that. With this, we'll wrap up. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been a wonderful conversation.
Same here, sir. Till then, next time, bye and take care.